Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nayaswami Padma, and I'm here today to bring you Quatrain 14 of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam as explained by Paramahansa Yogananda, with a little editorial comment by Swami Kriyananda. And today's quatrain, number 14, says, the worldly hope men set their hearts upon turns ashes, or it prospers, and anon, like snow upon the desert's dusty face, lighting a little hour or two is gone. And I'd like to play Swami Kriyananda singing this and Yogananda's paraphrase.
Stanza 15.
Whoops. Hang on.
Stanza 14. The worldly hope men set their hearts upon turns ashes or it prospers, and anon, like snow upon the desert's dusty face, lighting a little hour or two is gone. Paraphrase. Worldly hope is deceiving, a will-o'-the-wisp that lures ignorant minds to their destruction. Its fulfillments, like snow falling on hot desert sands, are evanescent. Barely do they touch us when their cool refreshment evaporates in the heat of our disillusionment.
This is such a, again, a profound quatrain because it talks about our life condition. The very fact that we're in these bodies and on this earth means that we're here working things out. We have not yet achieved perfection. Some souls have, a handful, very few at any point in time. Eventually, that's the divine promise for all of us. We are in that state now of perfection. Our egos have spent so many incarnations encrusting, covering up our soul reality, that we find ourselves, just trying to pick at those layers and let them evaporate so that we can shine in that perfection. Be aware of it all the time, not just mentally, but in direct experience. And so we find ourselves in that condition, and what do we do? And that's what he's talking about in this quatrain. He's describing that will-o'-the-wisp, that, every desire, we go after it, we finally achieve it, and then it just sort of evaporates. We can't grab it, we can't keep it. It doesn't satisfy us, it doesn't fulfill us. These things might be helpful if we ground them. I know grounding it in my own reality, I thought of the example I've shared with some when I was 19 and I first found Yogananda's path, spiritual path, I was going to Cal Berkeley and I was studying linguistics and loved it very much. I had a deep love for language and cultures and understanding people, and linguistics does that scientifically. But in any case, I found Yogananda's path. I followed that particular pathway, and I sort of forgot about that desire I had to understand language and people and cultures in that way. And some many years later, I was managing the publishing department at Ananda's first community and figured out that one of the aspects of publishing is foreign rights. And so I started, and that's a long story in itself, but I started exploring ways to get Swami Kriyananda's books into other languages. And within a short time, I found myself every year going to the Frankfurt Book Fair, meeting with foreign publishers from around the world, getting contracts, negotiating contracts that got those books into, well, today, for instance, they're in about 50 languages throughout the world. And I would meet in those early years, I would meet maybe 70 publishers in a 3 day span of time, half hour back to back, from countries around the world, maybe 85 different languages. And I didn't realize it at the time. I didn't actually have this thought until many, many years into that, maybe just 10 years ago or so. And that was taking place 40 years ago. At least it began then, it's still happening. But my point is that I had given my life to God. I was serving in the way I was asked to serve, which is a discipline that we can undertake for ourselves to assure that our own egos are not in it, at least less in it. There's a potential for them to be less in it. So I was serving in the capacity I was asked to serve, and I found myself working with people in many, many different languages. That particular project was extremely fulfilling for me. And when Swami Kriyananda asked us to move to Seattle and coordinate the work there, I he asked me to take that particular project with me. Now, he was not calculating, he worked intuitively. He didn't know what I had studied before I came to Ananda. I never talked about it, that it had been linguistics. But somehow he felt to ask me to take that project with me, notwithstanding the fact that I had a triple job once I got there to do the work in Seattle with my husband, Riemann. But somehow having that project in addition was very fulfilling. And so there was some part of my own nature that had a desire, that had a karma to work out in working in this field, this broader field that included linguistics. languages. And I was able to work out that karma, hopefully, fulfill that desire, hopefully, but I was never grasping for it as a desire. I had chosen to live my life for God alone, and I was following the um, task that I had been given in the publishing. I was doing that work not for myself, trying to do it for God alone. And in the process, the karma was allowed to be worked out. And so we don't have to worry about whether we're going to get to do this thing or that thing, and whether our natures are artistic or athletic or even intellectual, whatever it might be. If we put God first, then we're a little less attached when we do that. That is to say, we don't even reach for it, it comes to us. If it, our own comes to us, if it's ours to do, only we're doing it for God alone. So that is how I understood this quatrain 14 in Yogananda's Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. Joy to you, I'm sure we all have our own stories, and you can apply it in your own life. It's very universal. Many blessings. Bye bye now.